Is it gonna help more? For sure. Is it gonna trigger some? For sure. And I celebrate both. That vulnerability, right? When we are like open, because we have to be open to receive. And when we say receive, we receive everything. We receive the pain, we receive the critics, we receive the good feedback, bad feedback, negative feedback, but we also receive love and peace and abundance. Like they're all part of life. We don't get to just pick and choose. But the way that naturally we get to pick and choose what come to in our life, it's up to what's matching our soul. And I don't want to get into the spiritual and energetic work, but we did speak quite a bit about inner work. And that's what that does. It's creating a different energy around us, a different aura around us. So then the things that are coming in our life, they only could come the things that are matching where we are. We went through quite a bit, and I want to tap it back really quick into the importance of finding ourselves, healing our stories so we could speak with our own voice. And I'm just going to stop for a minute to why, how, and when we follow all these rules that have been created by others, and we are just expected of following them. Anybody here? Anybody experience like following other people's rules and then realize that it's not working for you, right? Because that's the thing. I mean, we've been trying it for years and years. We talk about this life that we imagine that we have to have. We grow up, we go to school, we get married, we have kids, we buy a house, and then we retire, right? And I mean, we save all this money, and then we retire and we live on that money. And life doesn't have to happen like that. Because what happened, life happened, and then we went through different experiences, different events, and different trauma, and it changed us. And that's the thing, you guys. It's all the events that happen in our life change us. So now the discrepancy is when we got changed as a result of an experience that we have. You know, it's an identity shift. But not all the time we are also changing our beliefs around it. So then we get to walk around as adults with a belief system that we created when we were 5 and 6 and 10, and our lives look totally different than it looked when we were 5 or 6 and 10, but we are still operating from the same beliefs. So this is the work that we are doing around beliefs and identity. And in order to do that, it takes lots of courage. It takes lots of courage to just break all the rules, all the boxes, and actually just take it yourself as you are so unique as you are, because you are, and there's nobody like you. And then getting the right support that actually believes in you and allows you to find your own answers. And find your own rules. Like, okay, so now we're here. How do you want to play moving forward? What is the game? What are the rules of your game, right? It's so general. It's so, like, it's general, but when we're looking at all these little pieces that we get to heal and upgrade, and then we create a new belief system, then we figure out, of course, that there's boundaries, right? There's our own personal boundaries, like those are the laws, right? And then we make the rules with them. We make the rules with them. And why it's so hard is because it might pull out some pain that we need to go through. It might break some relationships that we care about, and so on. Don't make decisions from your circumstances and fear. Make decisions from your desires and your dream, right? We all been to this current life that we are living in, like coming out of the pandemic. And last year was so freaking fucked up. I mean, seriously, worldwide, right? If only, let's say 10 years ago, no longer than that, if that would happen, I don't know what I was doing with myself, right? In this pandemic, I created so much impact that I couldn't even know that's possible. And first thing first, I heal so much of my trauma. Regardless of the circumstances of I decided to move back from New Zealand to United States. It's for the first time ever when I have my son living there and I live here. While still growing a business, and then do all the healing work, and then hiring even more support, and decided to write my book and actually publish it, right? All this during pandemic. I had 2 surgeries, 3 international flights, going through a divorce, missing my kid, healing and recovering, like just name it. It, like, you look and you say it doesn't make sense that under those circumstances you create so much and actually an impact and help people. What was only possible because of everything that happened up until that point prepared me, got me stronger than I ever been before, to be capable and able and ready to deal with whatever come at me. And that's what we do every day. That is the norm. That is the new standard. Because after today, tomorrow, we're gonna wake up stronger, more inspired. We got so many nuggets, we got so many insights and ahas, and that it's shifting something. It's shifting something in us. We can't go back. We can't be the people that we were yesterday after today. It's not gonna happen. So, but what happened, and I want to bring awareness of, like, your beliefs and the way that you behave might be the same. So that's what is that disconnect of, oh, I'm being this person, I have this insight, I believe these things, I have new desire, my dreams are changing, and yet I'm doing the same bullshit, right? So that's where we hire support to recognize these things and to help us identify what are the steps that I need to take now. Because I can't be taking the same steps that I took years ago. I was a different woman then, right? So that's how we identify our own rules. Now, and I say rules just for the sake of teaching or understanding or generalizing, but it really doesn't feel right, because as I said, I feel that we are in a work of working with heart and souls, and rules and formulas just don't belong there. They just don't belong there. They're too logistical, too mathematical, right? So we don't want to confuse this with logistics, right? Logistics are tools. So logistics are tools, systems, and whatever they're coming from our brain. And this is how we want to engage the decisions that we make in our brain and to drop into our heart. I like to teach this, like checking with your heart all the time. Even you have an idea about something, we are inspiring our heart, we get an idea about something in our brain, like generally speaking, right? And we always want to check. We want to check, okay, this idea, how that feels for me. Is this the next step? It's very logistical, right? It's like you get this, you pay this, and this is what you get, right? It's like your mind understands that. But then I ask you to just drop into your heart and say, is this something, like, what is it that I want? Oh, I want this, this, and that. This services, this packages, will they help me get there? Do I need this? And only get it if this is what you need. Right? And same goes the other way around. When we are inspired and we have an aha and an insight, it's really coming from our heart. So we want to engage the brain. In the brain work is to find those tools, the logistical and system, like, okay, I want to go there, like, back me up. What's the system? What's the tool? But that's where we are going. So we are always connecting the two. So the main reason we are doing that, besides the fact that it's a process of healing and knowing who we are, yes, thank you for answering. It's really because we are here to create an impact. You are here to create your impact. You are here to create your movement. You are here to fulfill your purpose. And again, it's not about changing the whole motherfucking world. It's about, as I often say, maybe your purpose, and I just had this conversation with my bestie the other night. What if your purpose is just to raise your child in a way like with love and compassion, because maybe your purpose is just to raise that child. And that child is the one that is going to change the whole world. Like we never know. I mean, we have the dreams and, oh, I find my purpose and all that, but what if we get to choose our purpose every day? And what if that is just to show up authentic and honest and vulnerable and loving and caring and compassionate, right? Because that's how we create an impact. So when I'm saying creating your impact, again, the stress is on it's yours. What that requires is we want to hear your words, we want to hear your voice, we want to hear your story. What's coming for me with that is when we share a story that is not yet healed. And I know I've been doing that for quite a while, right? And it show up from a place of victimhood because was shared in a with the language of like, this is what happened to me, and oh my God, it was so hard and it was so terrible. And it's not that I've been lying, it was hard and terrible, but was presented with the energy of poor me, poor me. And I'm looking for some attention and from sympathy, and I want you to feel sorry for me. That's how it's been shared, right? And why it's been shared like that? Because was still a lot of hiding attached to it, was still a lot of shame attached to it for everything that I did. Until I got into a point like taking responsibility for the decisions that I made, and actually for the first time, really, I felt that when I was in a shelter where they will tell me like, here I am with my kid, like all the identity, all the IDs were expired. I didn't even know where I'm at. I was in Virginia when they took me, but I didn't know if I'm still in the same state. I was not allowed to talk with outside world for my own good because they didn't know if he's gonna be after me to kill me or whatever. And I did not leave that building for 2-3 months, is because, for my own safety. And all I heard was, it's not your fault. He's an awful man. This is not your fault. You have nothing to do with it. And I didn't know. I really wanted to take responsibility. Like I created this, or I participated, I contribute, and they won't let me take the responsibility. So until, I got out of there, and years later, when I got to do this work, I understood like, wait a minute, oh, this is how beliefs are working. Like our beliefs create our reality. So if I grow up like somebody that was not safe to speak up, if I grow up like somebody knowing that what I have to say is not important, if I grow up believing that I have to have the right answer and the perfect answer in order to open my mouth. So of course I created a circumstance where I married a man that will not allow me to speak. And get this, even more than that, I created into a country with a language that I did not know, just to ensure that I cannot speak and I cannot stand up for myself. Like when I have that realization, I was just like, oh my God, talking about breakthroughs, right? So it took a minute, when I say minute, few years, to go back and heal the story. So then when in the process of healing, we always go deeper and deeper. We get stronger and stronger. as we get stronger and we heal and we forgive and we release and we get more of who we are, we are ready to go a little bit deeper and discover some more. Now, this is not to say that everybody has a big trauma and hidden trauma. This is just to explain the process. If for whatever reason you feel like, I don't want to go there, I don't want to open the closet with skeletons or whatever, is just know that you are safe, right? And yes, it's gonna be painful, and yes, we're gonna cry a little, and yes, we're gonna cry some more, and there are options, and you get to heal and you get to release and to forgive, so you could become more of who you are meant to be. So now you could access your voice, now you could use your own words, and now you could tell the story, a story that is healed. You could tell it from a space of transformation. There is no shame or anything attached to my book, like zero. And I know that people that read it, they're gonna have their own experience. They get inspired. The other day I jumped on a call with somebody from Australia, and you know, she just messaged me like, I'm reading your book. I cannot believe how much I discover about myself by reading your book. Right? Because there is all those pieces that they're hiding or they're dormant. And you know how it works. It could be a song, it could be a word, like how many songs that we are listening that that makes us feel in a certain way, right? It's just, that's what we need. Our part of our being need that peace in that moment. So we know how to give ourselves what we need. All of that to say that when your story is healed, then we get to show up in a way of just being authentic and using your own words. And I don't know, is it gonna be perfect? Chances are not, but what perfect is, really? Am I being honest when I'm saying this? 100%. And I'm being myself? 100%. There's people that resonates? 100%. There are people that are not? 100%. Everything is true. So we heal the story, we show up, we find our voice, we use our voice, and we share. But we share from a place of transformation. So that's what the story get to be inspiring. Like, there is nobody could come in my space and say, I cannot do such a thing. Like, I'm simply not available for that. No, no ma'am. I've been homeless into a country with a kid, without IDs, without speaking the language. And now I'm here. Don't tell me that you cannot do it. Like, I had no friends, no family, no babysitters, no nothing. You know, working, putting my life together, really, I got to the point where I got the first job, and I've been working full time as, you know, I was a single mom, and my kid was the first to be dropped off in before school program, and my kid was the last to be picked up after school program. And that kid has no access to any extracurriculars because I have a full-time job and I had nobody to drive him around. And, you know, I didn't have the luxury to be a stay-at-home mom. Not that I say that that's a luxury, but you look in your circumstances of like, do I have support? Like, when you're a parent and you care for a kid, it's like, what kind of support do you have? Do you have parents? Can you call a grandma to stay with the kid? I didn't have that option. I was in US by myself with a kid, no money. The moment that I qualified for some assistance, I will never forget that. It didn't make it to the book, really, that story. So I will share with you. I got a letter saying, after I got my first job, that it was just like little money, right? So I got a letter saying, because I have a minor child, I get to access for 3 months. It was a lot of paperwork. I won't even get into it. But I have access for 3 months for food stamps for my kid, and it was $75 for 3 months. Do you know how that felt to me? It was like winning the lottery. That's how huge that was. $75. And then I got to experience all the triggers and the feelings, humiliations and all that, going and sitting in line with homeless people, with people that in my perspective, they have it even harder than I did to stay in line to get that $75 every month. And I said, oh God, just help me to make enough money to don't qualify for anything ever again. And guess what? My wish would come true. I got a raise and I make enough money to don't qualify for anything, but not enough money to have a living. So I struggled for a few years. I really did. And what that created more victimhood stories. Like, for me, this is so hard, how I'm gonna make it. I'm a bad parent, I'm an awful mom, I'm come here to create a better future for my kid, and look at my life and how I've been doing this. And like, not only taking into the space where I took the responsibility for it, but then take it even further and just judge myself for everything that happened was my fault, right? So I'm sharing this just because when we look at our stories, that everybody's gonna get to judge it and interpret it from where they are. So that's why there is no such a thing, positive or negative feedback. People respond from where they are. So, but if the story is healed, we get to release it. And we know, I know the energy and the intention that I put into my book is I'm not the only woman that I went through all of that. There's so many others. And if another woman could pick up my book as I picked that book that I don't know the title and the name in library in Hampton, Virginia, and really help me get out of some negative and self-judgments and whatnot. If my book does that for another person, that's the intention. And is it gonna help more? For sure. Is it gonna trigger some? For sure. And I celebrate both.